Hi, I'm Frank Persico. Welcome to my video. And in today's video, I'm going to do a beginner type lesson, although I think it's something that even some more advanced students could benefit from, on switching chords while strumming and doing it as smoothly as possible. Some tricks you can use to make your chord switching sound smoother. And the reason I even thought to do this video is because I've seen with students very often they're frustrated with switching chords, and it's not just beginner students. It could be more advanced students that just kind of get stuck in bad habits and they advance in other areas of their guitar playing, yet that kind of problem still plagues them, and it actually becomes more frustrating as time goes on for them. I'm going to take these glasses off and get rid of the big ring lights. Okay, so let's just talk about proper fingering itself. We'll cover real simply what that is, because I'm going to assume that you know how to play a D chord, let's just say, right? Some basics, proper hand technique for the left hand. I always tell people, if this is the guitar neck, try to start with your hand, the palm of your hand, parallel to the floor, right? When you approach the neck. Don't approach the neck this way or this way, but come up, straight up, parallel to the floor, okay? And then kind of like almost cup your hands like you're holding, like you scooped up some water in your hands almost, or you're holding sand, or I don't know, maybe a ping pong ball, anything that you kind of got, just have kind of cradled in your hand. Okay, not tightly, always relaxed. No, there should be only tension anywhere where it's needed to physically execute the move or hold the string tension down. No more than that. No tension that's being put in other areas like the top of the palm or the wrist or the elbow. Okay, easier said than done, but just be mindful of that. Okay, so let's just take a D major chord, okay? So our thumb comes to the back of the neck, all right? First finger, second fret, G string. Third finger, third fret, B string. Second finger, second fret, E string, right? Now, my thumb's crept up over the top here. That's okay, as long as it feels natural and you're not any weird twisting motion, okay? You don't have to necessarily keep your hand locked in that shape. Anything that's locked is never a good mindset when you're playing an instrument or doing anything for that matter. Everything should be able to be fluidly adjusted. Okay, so for argument's sake, I want to talk about the efficiency of motion between chords, okay? So we have a D chord that we're properly fingering. And let's take this version of the G chord that we're properly fingering, okay? If we were to switch from D to G, we only want to move each finger as efficiently as possible to get to its next location. So our third finger, where does it have to go? Well, it has to go to this G right here. It's just got to, this is all that third finger needs to do. Okay? Our second finger, and it brings the first finger with it. Okay? The fingers want to work with each other, believe it or not. The hand operates as a unit. The fingers don't really work independently. They use each other for support, right? You're going to make a fist, you have to keep your fingers together, right? They don't work like this. Or maybe they do if you're trying to scratch someone's eyes out. But we're not trying to scratch someone's eyes out. We're trying to play guitar. So what I tell students to do is, painstaking as it may seem, is practice moving between the two chords slowly and with the most efficient motion you can have. I don't want you, if you're going from a D chord to a G chord, I don't want you to approach that G chord as if you're coming from just grabbing the guitar. I know some students that D chord, and then they like reset G chord, reset D chord. This is wasted movement. The best example of efficiency in movement between chords would probably be between A minor, right? A minor, cupped hand, two fingers, the second and third finger are kind of working as a team. If we had them separate, if we weren't thinking of them as a team, it would be that much harder even to play an A minor chord, right? These three fingers are actually kind of together. I mean, look at that. I can hold my pick there. Maybe I'm going to walk around and do that. I'm just going to walk around like this all day. So if we're switching from an A minor chord to an E minor chord, we're not going to go... I mean, all we're doing is lifting the first finger and moving these two fingers up. The amount of motion is minuscule. That's why when you see a lot of really good players play, it almost looks like they're doing nothing. You know, even guys that do a lot of scale passages really fast. It's like the hand, the right hand, the left hand, almost doesn't look like it's moving because the efficiency is so good. And you have to practice efficiency. It's not going to just miraculously happen for most of us. For some people, maybe it naturally does. But if you find there's two particular chords that are giving you problems going between, then scale it back down. Even if you're an advanced player, let's say you're going from a G major to a C major 9, kind of a tricky move. I was just playing it wrong. Break it down. Efficiency of motion. Another good example of that would be from A minor. Another great example of that. A minor to C major. What has to happen for me to go from an A minor chord to a C major chord? Not a whole hell of a lot. Third finger moves to the third fret of the A string. This is all that has to happen. From here to here. From here to here. No other movement is necessary. Now that one's probably pretty intuitive, right? You probably automatically do that. But the move between two more, well, I shouldn't say two more difficult chords, but two chords that aren't necessarily positioned in a way that are comfortable to move between, well, break it down to what has to move and identify where your points of tension are, and then just drill through it slowly until the movement becomes second nature. Okay? Point number 1. So now we've got to move chords. Hold on a minute. I went way too long without coffee. Now, okay, so now we have chords we can move. So let's say G, C, D. Okay, and we're like a 3/8 time. 3, 6, 8 time. 1, 2, 3, 1. Now what we want to be able to do is, if we're strumming, in this case, we'll be strumming, right? 1, 2, 3. And the strum we're going to use is down, 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 We've got to get from G down, up, down, up to C. Down, 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 down. As a side note, I'm going to do another video on strumming because that's something that comes up all the time on my TikTok videos. Okay, Frank, you gave us a lesson, but how do you strum it? What is the right hand doing? A lot of guitar players, they struggle with groove on the right hand, with muting on the left hand, and how these two kind of combine. And it's very important because just moving your fingers around and putting your finger in the right place and picking the right note, most people focus on that, and that's important, but that don't make it sound good necessarily, okay? It's not enough. And actually, probably having good tone and good groove is arguably more important in some instances. So let's say we're in a down, down, up, a 6/8 feel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down. What you want to do is time the movement of the chord with your left hand to the right hand, okay? Down, down, up, down, up. Ah, you see how that movement is happening? Down, down, up. While this hand is in motion, this hand has to move. The right hand is going to allow time for the left hand. And that is a very subtle thing to master. And it can change depending on the song, depending on the groove, but to be aware of the fact that that is where your opportunity is going to be to switch will allow you to work out problematic areas when you need to switch. So, switch. See how that's timed out? Watch my right hand and left hand simultaneously. So using efficiency of motion in the left hand combined with moving the chord when the right hand is kind of in another part of motion that's not involving playing the strings. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does. Come gather round, people, wherever you roam. That's how you make things start to sound like music, by combining the timing of the two hands together so that there's no herky-jerky sound, no herky-jerky movement anywhere. It just kind of flows like music, and you get those chord transitions as smoothly as possible while the right hand is just keeping the feel going, okay? This is especially important when strumming an acoustic guitar. So if you get nothing more from this short video, it's 1, am I fingering the chord properly? Is there tension anywhere in my left hand? Is my left hand shaped the way it should be shaped, or is it in some awkward position that's going to make moving, efficient movement impossible? Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, what fingers need to move in order to get the most efficient movement between the chords? And whatever doesn't have to move stays put. We want to make a beeline from wherever that finger needs to go, it makes a beeline there. It goes straight from where it is to the point that it needs to be. You don't have to make the sound effect if you want, but you can. And practice the transitions slowly and repeatedly. And coordinating the right hand to the left hand in the strumming pattern, or the picking pattern, or whatever it is. let's say I'm going from an A kind of major, almost like a power chord, and I'm just doing a down strum. So let's say I'm doing something with that pattern. While this hand is coming back up, and I'm using a palm muting technique for this particular sound. I even banged the guitar on in between there. Almost it sounds like music. I don't even need chords. Play with it. But be aware that in that marriage between the two hands and the muting and the palm muting and the up and down motion and the efficiency of motion in the left hand, somewhere in that combination is where you're going to arrive at your best, most musical transition. I know it's heady, I know it's weird. That's kind of my approach. I found that type of thinking is what works for me. Sometimes you can't just break something down to a basic mechanical move, or you sound like a mechanical player who's playing it correctly, but it won't really feel musical to you, and you'll know it's not right. And my goal is to make you just feel right and play like yourself. Okay? I'm Frank Persico. Please subscribe. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram, Frank Persico. And I hope to see you soon in another video. I'm going to try to make them more frequently. Have a good one. Thanks.